People will judge you, whether you know it or not. You'll get people talking behind your back, because I was one of them. But like, I didn't want to be that person. So actually, I love helping people feel good, or helping people like feel better.
It doesn't matter if we're 20, 30, 40, or 50, or 60, or 70. We're always learning, always being better. What's up, man?
What's up?
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
I know, this is pretty awesome, actually.
This is awesome. This feels like kind of awkward and weird, but good. Really, really good, actually.
Oh, yeah.
This is so cool. I've been thinking about this for a long time, actually, but I never really talked about it too terribly much. And to be honest, like, I was nervous about it. I'm actually nervous about it right now.
Really?
Yeah. Are you?
No, not really, honestly. I'm just happy to do this. This is pretty awesome.
This is pretty awesome.
I've been wanting to do this with you for a while. I remember we've been talking about like trying to do some podcasts together, and then we were just like, we kind of formed the idea of doing a father-son one. Yeah. And it's finally happening, so I'm just like kind of excited.
I know.
And I'm full of energy, mostly because of some First Form.
Some First Form energy drinks.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of what is your favorite? What is your favorite flavor?
I honestly have to go with the orange sunrise one, but this one's pretty good. I really like this one too.
Dude, the Berry Dream is good, but yeah, the Orange Sunrise, that reminds me of like, no kidding around, like playing Little League Baseball and having an Orange Crush.
Really?
Yeah, like Orange Crush was the jam, or the Vest. Do you remember Vest soda?
I think so.
Yeah, they had like grape cream soda.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the super cheap stuff, but
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my God, when we were kids, man, that was like the jam. But yeah, the Orange Sunrise tastes like Orange Crush. I keep asking Sal Forcello over there at First Form. I was like, dude, when are you going to launch grape? Because as soon as grape comes out, man, I'm done for. I just love grape energy drinks. So
you just love grape everything.
I do.
Grape Powerade.
Yeah.
Anything.
I do like grape. I like me some grape. So let's do this. The audience, I mean, they've been pretty used to me like talking about obviously the family and you and Mason and Lawson and Colton. But I would just really love for the guys to really get to know you and what you're all about. So tell the audience just about who Ethan Hagner is, what he's all about.
Well, I'm still a senior in high school. I'm about to graduate here soon. I have like 10 days left till my last day. So I'm pretty excited. How does it make you feel?
It's very, very surreal because I remember like every parent says this and I would always be like, yeah, okay, cool. But like, I always remember the first day bringing you home or the first day you were born. And that is absolutely true. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember even, you want to hear something really funny?
Yes.
I actually remember driving you and Mom home from the hospital. And I remember driving so slow that I was terrified to go fast because I was like, oh my God, if I get in a wreck, like talk about precious cargo.
Oh my gosh.
I think I had my hazards on at some point too, but
are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, but to see you, here we are 19 years later, and you're getting ready, you're 10 days from graduating high school and the cool things that you're going to go on and do and your dreams and the things that you're excited about, man, it's just, it's crazy to think about. So to answer your question, it's very surreal. Like when people say, the last thing I'll say, and then I want you to talk more about you and what you're all about. But when people say, when you have kids, it goes fast, they lie. They lie because it goes faster.
Really?
It goes so fast, man. It's like, I cannot believe 20 years has flown by. Like I was 30 when I had you and I'm going to be 50 and it's wild. But yeah, that's to answer your question. It's flown by way too fast, but I've enjoyed every bit of it.
I'm glad.
About you?
What about me?
Well, yeah, just more about you.
Well, if this makes you feel any better with how fast you think I'm growing up, it's okay because I'm going to be here most of the time until I move out. I'm going to be here for college. I'm going to just go to community college for a semester, take a prerequisite of medical terminology to become a firefighter, but I have to go through EMT school and paramedic school first. So I'm going to be home a lot until I move out, and I'll probably move out I don't even know when.
40, like 40?
Maybe.
Like your kids will be here. We'll be making breakfast for you. Your wife and kids. You guys just be downstairs.
Yep.
It'll be failure to launch all over again. Let me ask you this though. Like, you want to be a firefighter?
I do.
I think that's amazing. That's a tough job. What is it about firefighting and being a first responder, helping people, rescuing people? What's got you excited and what's got you nervous about it?
I'm really excited about it mostly because, well, as you know, I love helping people. And actually, so my case manager, my like, I guess you could say counselor per se at school, she kind of did these things with me since freshman year all the way till now of like, what is the kind of like category I'm going for when I want to, like what I want to do after high school, like military, 4-year college, community college, just those basic things. And whenever I was answering those questions, she noticed a very similar theme to every single one of them from all 4 years of high school. And she noticed it was a lot of helping people out, helping people feel good, or helping people like just feel better, I guess. And that's kind of what I do. What I want to do, and I want to do something hard. And I'm not the type of guy that likes to. I mean, I know this is what you do, but I don't want to be a type of guy that sits behind a desk all day.
Oh, thanks. What about a type of guy who sits behind a desk on a microphone? Is that any better or no?
Actually, no. I think there's worse.
Yeah.
Worse things than that.
There's too much talking and sitting at the same time. Yeah.
I mean, doing something hard like helping save lives, put out fires, like that sounds pretty awesome. It's just a little intriguing, honestly. Yeah. And the things I'm most nervous about is, well, it's kind of like the basic things of becoming a paramedic or firefighter. It's the divorce rates. Who knows? Whenever I get married.
You definitely got Megan's attention over there when you said the divorce rates. She immediately like looked over. I think she was like looking out the window, and then when she heard divorce, she like immediately like just perked right up.
Well, they are pretty high, and the PTSD is probably not pleasant for most people. But I know there's coping mechanisms like therapy, working out, having your family and friends near you. I know a lot of people don't have that though, so it's really hard for a lot of people. And I don't know, maybe going through something like that's just hard to watch is kind of nerve-wracking. And I mean, sure, it'll be a lot of pressure, but I know I'll probably get used to it eventually. I can't say I'm prepared just yet for like the crazy things I'll see, but I am well aware of the things I might see. Like it's unpredictable. That's kind of the exciting thing about the job. I've heard so many people say the best part about this job, it's super unpredictable. You get to just, it's not repetitive. It's just one day you're helping an old person like get out of bed, and next day you're pulling someone out of a fire. So it can go from 1 to 100 really quickly.
Yeah, I can. You got some really good practice though this past weekend at the Forge, where you almost had to like pull me out of the toilet.
Yeah, pretty much. Why don't you explain what that was all about?
Oh yeah. So the men's Forge, which by the way, what did you think of that event?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Like that was awesome. I loved connecting with everyone there, learning the lessons from all the speakers, from everyone's stories. It was just such an amazing bonding experience. I honestly, if I could go back in time, I would relive the whole thing again. I really would.
What did you, like you mentioned, like the bonding, the conversations, like I got to admit, I told Mom this when I came back home. She's like, how was it? And I was like, well, of course, like I, wrecked my knee. I was like, that part sucked, but everything else was unbelievable. And she asked me, she's like, how did Ethan do? And I was like, man, Ethan, like, I didn't have to babysit him. Like I didn't have to, like, he literally just went off by himself, made his own friends. Like I remember like, even like I would sit down at the lunch table and you'd be like, hey, do we have to sit together? I'm like, well, no, we don't. Why? And you're like, I'm going to go sit over here with these guys and talk to these guys. I loved that. And I love the fact that you embraced every conversation and just tried to learn. And you also, like, the guys raved about you and just the conversations they had with you. But it was an amazing event for sure. But yeah, the Forge, probably my favorite event I've ever hosted or been a part of or done. And I think it's because it was the perfect mix of education, camaraderie, connection with other like-minded men who shared the same vision. But we got to play.
Oh yeah.
Which was, we had like a pickleball tournament, we had cornhole tournament, we did tug of war, we did jujitsu, we did
ropes course,
we did PT. I mean, it was fun, and all the physicality about it was fun. I felt like we were like playing on recess. And yeah, what happened to me at the men's Forge, Ryan Mickler, I'm coming for you, brother. Coming for you.
Watch
man.
out.
I'm coming.
You got to do what you got to do. That's what you got to do, and I'm a fighter.
No, but so what happened was the very last day of the men's Forge, we had a tug of war tournament, and it was Order of Man versus Dad Edge, and Order of Man beat us in the first match. Then Dad Edge came back and beat them. Then it came down to the championship match between me and Mickler. And it was just me and him. And here's the funny thing in my mind. Do you remember when Gatch was like, hey, Larry, you all right? You ready to go? Do you remember him saying that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. In my head, I was like literally psyching myself up. And I was like, I am not going to lose. I will not lose. He's either going to have to kill me or break me. I will not let go of this rope. And unfortunately, it was the latter. I broke. What happened was, at least I think, I went to pull, and then I hit, like, the weather was awful, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was very muddy.
It was very muddy. So, like, I think the bottom half of my leg went one way, the top half went the other, and all I knew was it felt like I was hit in the leg with, like, a hammer. Turns out I ruptured my patella tendon. I now need surgery to fix it, and it's probably going to be about a 9-month recovery. So I'm hoping by Christmas that I'm totally fully functional, which I have no doubt I will be. My goal is actually by my 50th birthday, which is just 8 weeks from now, I'll be able to walk a mile again, and I'll be able to carry Colton to bed again. That's one of my goals. That's because he asked me, he's like, "You carry me to bed?" I'm like, "Give me a few months, man. I'll recover and I'll carry you to bed." But anyway, back to you. I want to talk about just your upbringing, and I want to talk about I want the guys to just really kind of get to know you. So like, I want the guys to understand, like, what was young Ethan like? So like Ethan between the ages of like 6 to 10, like just the things that you did, the things that you liked to do, like your extracurricular activities and just things that kind of had your interest. So the guys just get to know you.
From like ages 6 to 10, ooh, man, those were some pretty good memories. Some better than others. Well, in between the age of 6 to 10, I know we moved from one house to another because of just a lot of different reasons. Mostly because we needed a bigger house because we were about to have Lawson. And I remember on my 6th birthday, Mom surprised us with that. And I didn't even know that stuff was possible. I was like, no, that's not possible. You don't have a baby in your tummy.
We didn't either. It surprised us just as much as you.
Yeah, I was literally like opening my presents, and you guys were like, "Hey, just like stand right there, like you and Mason, right there. I'm gonna record you guys." I was like, "Okay, sure." And I was just like, and Mom was sitting right there on the couch, and she was like, "Guess what?" And we're like, "What? Am I gonna get another present? Is it a bigger one?" And then she was like, "I have a baby in my tummy." He was like, "No, you don't. That's not possible. I didn't even know that stuff existed."
Yeah.
That's a whole thing, but like that's what I remember from the age of 6. And then basically from here on out, like from at that point, we moved to a bigger house.
You switched schools.
I switched schools. Honestly, I didn't mind. I didn't really like my first school at all.
I didn't either.
I was bullied a lot. My teachers were terrible, super mean. But yeah, I had to switch schools. I'm sure most of you guys are wondering, I'm senior high school. I'm 19 years old. I had to repeat first grade. Mostly I'm assuming just ADHD stuff.
It actually, to be honest, didn't have to do with that at all.
Really?
No, yeah. Your grades were okay.
Okay.
The thing was, no, it really boiled down to, so like the district that we were in, in our first house, they were quite a bit behind the district we're in now.
Yeah.
So you being in first grade there was almost like the kindergarten here. Mm-hmm. So we're like, hey, we're moving. Like we knew that this school district was a bit harder, and we knew that like it would probably be a really good idea if you were ever to repeat a grade. Like I think the audience I repeated the 8th grade. That sucked.
Yeah.
So if you're ever going to repeat a grade, like we thought, like, well, what better time to do it than when you're younger.
Yeah.
And also switching schools. And to be honest, I think that was the right move because, our school district now, it's a bit ahead of the older one. Mm-hmm. And I think for you, it would have felt like going from first grade to 3rd grade. I think it would have been a huge monster change.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me and Mom that decided that. We talked to the principal and the counselor and all that. And we just like, hey, yeah, this is probably a better idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I repeated the first grade. It was actually pretty cool. I made a lot of amazing friends. Yeah. No one really cared that much. We were all super young.
No one cares. 6
to 8 years old, like just kids. Like, okay, whatever. I was pretty oblivious to that stuff. So was everyone else. And in between, like, if I'm doing my math right, I think I was in 3rd grade when I was 10. I think
that sounds about right.
I think 10 to 11 I was
3rd or 4th grade. Yeah.
one of those two.
Yeah.
But I know I was like first grade. I was like 7, 8. Second grade, 8 to 9. I mean, it was a pretty nice life actually. I mean, I know you guys weren't really like. I know you guys didn't really like the house that much. We had a lot of horrible episodes here and there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Which
Actually, not to cut you out. Do you want to hear something really funny that I don't know if you know this story or not?
I would love to know.
So like you knew like, okay, so for me, this is one of the coolest things I think that's going to come out of this podcast is you're going to share your perspective and your memories. And then I'll share with you what was going on and what was actually happening.
Yeah.
So like, yes, in your world, like, okay, so suddenly we're moving and like, wait a second, mom's pregnant. I'm going to have a little brother. Like what? This is kind of like a lot of change. Like how this all happen? So me and mom, we had this plan. We were not going to have any more kids except for you and Mason. And that was fine. And I would also say we were kind of on the fence about it, but we were also pretty decided that like, hey, I think we're just going to have these 2 boys. And so when we moved, we were like, okay, well, we're going to move to a bigger house. We're going to get boys in a better school district because our starter home, it wasn't the best school district. And we're like, and mom was going to go back to work. So we're like, you know what, let's just buy like kind of our dream house, right? So we bought like this house, we put like all these bells and whistles in it. Like you guys' bedrooms upstairs in that house were going to be like gargantuan. Like they were going to be huge bedrooms. And we were so excited about that. Mom was going to go back to work and everything. Like, so we kind of bought this house thinking mom was going to go back to work. We weren't having any other kids. So we like got all these upgrades, like beautiful floors and the countertops and huge rooms for you guys and that kind of thing. Not huge. I mean, it was a basic house, and then the day or the week we put a contract on the house, we found out we were pregnant. So suddenly mom's not going back to work. We don't need 2 bedrooms upstairs. Now we need 3. And we're like, now what? So this is what I did. I called the contractor of the house and I'm like, hey man, is it too late? We had just put the contract in like 3 days before this. I was like, is it too late to make changes to the contract? He's like, no man, not at all. We haven't even broke ground. I was like, okay. I was like, you remember all the upgrades? Like the floors and the countertops and all this other stuff? He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I don't need any of that. None of it. Make it all standard. Make it all the basic stuff because we knew it was going to be trashed. Like with you guys, like we just knew it was going to be trashed. A new baby, like, come on. So like, and he's like, and I said, and I knew another bedroom upstairs. He's like, what the heck happened? And I go, what do you think happened? And he just started laughing. So that was the story of like, okay, well, I guess we need to bob and weave and change again. So that was the story of us moving. But yeah, go back to when you were that age.
Well, honestly, I was pretty oblivious to that stuff too. I kind of just went with the flow of everything.
I don't think we let you in on that stuff.
No, you really didn't. You kind of just kept me and Mason, like out of that stuff so we could be like, I guess, happy. Because, I mean, we didn't understand. Even if you told us that, we'd probably been like, okay, yeah, okay, whatever. But I do remember in between us moving, we had to go get a rental house in the neighborhood that we were moving in. And I know that was a big challenge because you guys told us about how it was really hard to get that. And it wasn't even like, it was a pretty good house. It had a little hidey hole in the wall of the basement.
Had a hiding spot under the stairs.
Yeah, it was pretty
cool.
awesome. Yeah. I think we would use that if like tornadoes came in, but I don't think we ever used that for like a tornado.
No, we spent the night in there. You remember that?
I do. Actually, I remember I was really sick in there.
Oh my God, yeah.
I was like really ill.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I remember, this is going to sound kind of gross, but I just remember puking in there in the middle of the night. You're just like, and you're like, oh crap, as if you've carried me back to my bed upstairs.
Yeah.
And set up like a trash can, and then you had to clean up all the puke on the floor, and it's a whole thing. But
see, all this comes full circle. You had to help me out of the bathroom after I busted my leg, and I'm cleaning up your puke. I mean, that sounds like a typical drunken party night.
Pretty even.
Right, it's pretty even.
But yeah, so we moved into a rental house. It was pretty interesting. It was very, very, very empty, and we had a lot of space, and we couldn't really pull everything out because we were moving right back, and we were moving right after. If we like put everything out, decorated the whole house, it would have been pointless because we would have, by the time we were done decorating, we would have to take it all down and move into the new house. So I remember in the big, like where the front door was, it was a very open space. And then there was, in your corner was just that little office. The little desk right there.
So let me just explain to the audience what's happening here. So we put this contract on this house to be built. The house was supposed to be built, completed by the summer before you were supposed to start first grade. And then that didn't happen. We actually didn't close on that house till November, so it was severely delayed. So in order for us to get you into school, we had to find a home that we could rent for a very short period of time, to get you in school so we could have an address in the school district. So that's what we did. So we had like this, and it was a huge, crazy house, like a house we would never buy, but it was the only one we could rent. And yeah, it was, we lived there for 4 months, and then we moved again into our other normal house after that. Yeah. But yeah, like, so what was, just as you grew up, like, what were just some of the extracurricular activity things that you liked to do?
Oh man. I mean, I remember like this one time you showed us a video of us in the old house of what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I was like, I'll be a firefighter, I'll be a rock star, I'll be a pilot, I'll be a police officer. I said all kinds of different things.
Firefighter and rock star, you nailed those two?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing guitar and all kinds of other instruments, and I'm going to be a firefighter. Actually, 2nd grade, I really wanted to be a police officer. I was obsessed with that stuff, but I didn't continue that after 1st grade or 2nd grade ended. But I wanted to be all kinds of different things. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a doctor. I just said all kinds of different jobs. I was like, I want to do all that.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, what's up?
When you would come up with those ideas of things you want to do, did you feel that me and Mom were supportive of it?
Yeah. Like you kind of just like, yes, dream big. Go all out with whatever you want to do after this.
Yeah. I think that's really important is, even if I'll be really honest, when you said you want to be a cop, first thing that I thought about is like, I don't want my kid shot at. Right. But at the same time, like, I don't think that you should get in the way of your kid's dreams. So if they have a dream to serve and protect and be a police officer, then you support them, and even though it's scary, I'm not going to lie, man, I'm nervous about you being a firefighter. I mean,
yeah, me too.
Any father will tell a son that or daughter that, but like, it makes me nervous, but I also know like you've always had that in you to serve, to protect. I remember like you would almost like your buddy Noah, when he had a busted arm. Oh my
gosh.
Like you would seek out these friends of yours that were going like, I remember Noah had a broken arm and I'll never forget it. You called yourself his manager because you would help that kid with his backpack. You would help him on and off the bus. Like, and you like barely knew him at the time. You guys were kind of friends. And I was like, man, he's always helping somebody out always. And I just thought, or protecting somebody. Like I'll never forget when you were a little guy and you had to protect Mason in a fight one time.
I did do that.
And you like unleashed a side of you, man, that I was just like, holy cow, like that is a protector, right, of a younger brother.
All I did was just tackle him. I didn't throw any punches.
Well, you protected your brother then.
I did.
So you did. But so yeah, you want to be a cop, you want to be a firefighter, you pilot, you want to be all those things. But
oh yeah.
What got you into music?
It's actually a really funny story. In 5th grade, they were introducing us because we were about to go into 6th grade, which meant you could do like theater, choir, band, different kinds of science clubs, like all kinds, like the opportunities were like so out there, very cool things you could do. And they introduced to us band, which is like playing a trumpet, a trombone, a clarinet, a flute, saxophones, tubas, all that stuff, percussion instruments. And we saw that. And at first I was like, I don't want to do that. But then one of my friends, and this is in a different school, but basically from before I got held back, I was in Westhoff, which is in the Fort Zumwalt district. And then we went to Discovery Ridge Elementary, which was in the Wentzville School District. And then we had to get rezoned after 4th grade to Duello. And then after that, we moved here and we had to go to Prairie View. So it was a lot.
It's like 4 schools in like 4 years.
Oh yeah.
It's like it was the craziest thing ever.
Oh yeah. But whenever I was in 5th grade, that's when we went to Duello. And they introduced to us band and a few other things. And at first I was like, I don't want to do that. And then they gave us the sign-up sheets of whatever we wanted to look into. And one of my buddies was like, doing this, like, across the room, was like, we're going to do band, right? I was like,
who was the buddy?
Yeah.
Do you remember who the buddy was?
His name was Logan. Do you remember?
I don't remember Logan.
Samsonite.
Oh, I remember Logan.
That's not his actual last name, but
don't say his last name.
I'm not going to say
Samsonite.
That's what you used to call him because it was pretty similar to that. And you were making jokes because of Dumb and Dumber.
That. Yeah.
You would say Samsonite. I'm not going to actually say it. But yeah, he was just like across the whole class, and he was just like, basically meaning like, we're going to do band next year, right? I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it with a friend. I'm going to do this. And then we moved, and I went to Prairie View in 6th grade. And I was like, I don't want to do band. I really don't want to do this. But I didn't tell you guys that.
Yeah, you didn't.
I just
remember you saying that.
Kind of kept it in. And I remember my mom giving me the sign-up sheet of band And was like, what instrument do you want to do? And I was like, oh, man, I don't know. What's the easiest one? What sounds easier? I picked a trombone at first because it's a slide. There's no buttons. And the clarinet, flute, those look complicated. Like all those buttons, like it was a little overwhelming to look at. So was the trumpet. I was like, I don't want to push any buttons. I'm just going to use a trombone. That was a lot harder, actually. Fast forward to like now, saxophone's way easier.
Yeah.
But anyways, we moved, and I remember my first day of band class, and I actually really liked it. I was like, you know what? I'm really glad I decided not to do this. I decided not to switch out. So I continued it. But I went through a really big challenge. I did not like trombone. It's just not easy. I couldn't understand the note names. I couldn't understand like which note was what and the slide positions. I went off numbers. Like you got like your first, your second, your third, fourth, and your fifth, sixth, seventh, all the way out. Seventh is like really far out.
Do you remember trying to teach me that?
Kind of. I remember kind of teach. Like I remember like before sixth grade ended, I was starting to teach myself songs, but I didn't understand like the letters like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all that stuff. I didn't understand that stuff. I used the numbers. I wrote down the numbers of the slide position on the notes in my music, like in my sheet music, because I didn't understand it. I was like, I don't know how to play this.
Did you do that yourself?
I had help actually.
I was gonna say that's really resourceful. I mean, like you didn't understand it the way it was, so you made do to put it into a system that you understood.
Yeah. But I had to have help because I didn't. When I was looking at the sheet music, I was like, I don't know which slide position this is. So I looked off my friends. I was like, I don't know.
So you cheated?
Yes, pretty much. But it was a way for me to, if I wanted to do it, I wanted to get good at it. So I found a loophole, I guess you could say. But I was like, I don't want to continue this into middle school. I might just quit band. But then I was like, so in my band class, there was these posters full of different instruments. You got your flute, your piccolo, your clarinet, your bass clarinet, saxophones, and all kinds of different saxophones. And then you got like your brass instruments, trombone, trumpet, tuba, all that stuff, and all the other percussion instruments. I was looking at it, and the one instrument that caught my eye was a saxophone. I was like, I want to play that.
It's a cool instrument.
I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I remember seeing a kid's show when I was like 3 maybe, of a little kid with this plastic saxophone. I was like, that looks cool. I want to play that someday. And then I'm like I remember like looking at that. I was like, I remember that. Maybe I should do saxophone. But in order for me to do that, I had to go. The school wanted me to go through clarinet first, but I didn't want to go through that process. So I was like, let's just buy my own. So we bought my own. We went to a music store not too far from here, and we were just like, I would like a saxophone, please. And then they helped me with everything. They even hooked me up with some like lessons.
Well, and the cool thing too is that your journey in band, like it started in middle school.
Yeah.
And then in high school, you were a part of the band. Then by junior year, you were a section leader in the band. And then what happened senior year?
I was the drum major. I was the one. If you don't know what that means, it means you were conducting in front of the whole marching band.
I want to talk about that. I mean, obviously there's this really cool history of music, but I really want to illustrate progression into leadership because you did that. And I even remember conversations that you and I had, like even when you were applying to be section leader of the saxophone section, and you're like a bit nervous about it. And then, but then the next year you were like, you went out for the drum major to lead the entire band. So like from my view of this, like see this young man in middle school picks up his first trombone, then goes to saxophone, having fun with it, gets into high school, then suddenly becomes a part of marching band where you have to march and play instruments. Then I see you enter into something that's uncomfortable and challenging like leadership in junior year, and then do something like, holy cow, this is a big step in leadership, you know, how big's the band? Like what?
I was probably like 70, 80 people.
70, 80 people.
Oh, there's a lot. Like there's other schools that have like hundreds of kids, and we're kind of a small band compared to other bands, but it was still a lot of people.
70 to 80 people is nothing to, I mean, that's a lot of people. So like, I would really like to know, like just from a young man's perspective, because I think one of the coolest values about this podcast is really understanding the mind of a young man and what makes him uncomfortable, what makes him nervous, but yet he has the courage to move forward anyway. So, let's just go back to sophomore year. You're done with sophomore year. You want to step into more responsibility of being a section leader in the band. Like what is going through your mind of like, what is this new responsibility going to look like? Or what's got you excited about it? And what's got you like nervous about it?
Okay, so basically, whenever sophomore year was just about to be over, like in between April and May, they do a whole process, basically a job interview. Like, are you qualified for this position? And it's totally optional. Like, you volunteer to do it, but it's still a pretty big role. But what we did was if you were interested in it, you would sign up through a Google form that my band director posted in an email. And then we would have to show up to meetings showing like what we should be like what the whole interview process looks like. You have to write an essay showing like, I promise to do this and to make sure that this doesn't happen kind of thing. That was pretty vague, but that's kind of like the example of what we had to write in the essay, like showing like you have to write down like how will you like lead and how well you will lead. Then you have to make a video of you teaching how to march properly.
Was that the video you made of me?
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God.
I remember teaching Mason too.
Yeah. It was and I'll tell you, for those of you guys who watch high school marching bands, like I remember you trying to teach me that and I felt like I had two left feet. I was like, man, not only do I not know how to do this, but I can't even imagine teaching it. So it's way harder than it looks.
Oh yeah. Sure, it's really not that hard. You're just walking and playing an instrument pretty much, but
you have to do it like in unison, right?
Oh, yes.
Like if you're off, then you're going to throw everybody off.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
You have to march in time with the music. You have to play the correct notes. You have to keep your instrument up. Like I'm kind of doing a saxophone position. You got your set position. You have your playing position. But like it was a lot more complicated than I thought. But me personally, it really wasn't that hard to pick up. Obviously, there were some challenging moments. Because it's also really hard during Marching Band because that's during the fall. And there's some hot days during that time. So we had to wear these very, very layered uniforms in like 90-degree weather. And we're sweating like crazy trying to play on time. And I'm just...
Not to mention, but isn't like, I don't know much about brass instruments, but brass instruments in the sun they've got to be hot.
Oh, yeah. So that's the thing. This is kind of a side note about instruments, but basically... depending on the temperature in the room or outside will also determine how well tuned you will be.
Oh, I can. Yeah.
So when it's colder, you're more tuned flat. For musicians, you know what that meant. You know what that means. For hotter days, it's more tuned sharp. So sometimes we do band camp. Yes, I know this one time at band camp. We would take breaks and we would set our instruments down on the sidelines and then we pick them back up after like an hour. And they would be really hot.
I can't imagine, yeah.
I mean, they're not like scorching hot to where it burns, but like it's pretty warm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot more complicated than you think it is. But yeah.
I'm sure. And then what were some lessons like that you learned while you were in leadership positions?
Oh man.
Like I'm talking about like some of the good ones and some of the like really frustrating ones. Because when you're new to leadership, you're like, well, this is like a whole new animal. And then
Oh, I'll tell you.
Yeah, let's hear it. What do you got?
And this is something that they didn't prepare us for when we were interviewing for the leadership position. People will judge you, whether you know it or not. And like you'll get people talking behind your back. Because I was one of them. My freshman year, I was like, man, this one leadership person, like I don't like how they were like yelling at me or something like that. But like I didn't want to be that person. So actually, they didn't tell us that people were gonna be like that. But I was just kind of had the idea. I was like, man, I was in that position. What if someone talks to me like that? So I was literally like, I want to make this as fun as possible, but also I still want to be serious and we have to stay focused.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Why did you want to make it fun?
Because I wanted people to enjoy it. Because my freshman year, my leadership team, like the whole lead team, they made it so much fun. I loved freshman year. Like band, it was one of the most memorable things of high school ever. I look back on this and I was like, man, I really missed that. And then I got to my junior year, I was that person.
That is so cool. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want the audience to hear that, and I want dads to hear that, if we're having fun in a leadership position and we're contributing that fun factor within leadership, and it's still serious, right? But when you can add in fun, people are going to learn better. People are going to be more, enticed to follow you and to do what you're doing. Cause you're like, man, like I really like following that guy. He not only teaches me, but he also makes it fun. So I think that's awesome. And you did that.
It's kind of like Ted Lasso. Like Ted Lasso made a lot of things fun. And but he also was like, whenever something was messed up, like he would step in and time to lock in kind of thing. But, that's kind of like the mentality I was kind of going in for with drum major. I was like, I'm gonna make this fun. I'm gonna be like Ted Lasso.
Did you ever have a Ted Lasso and Jamie moment where Jamie is like, I'm hurt? He's like, oh, you can't go to practice because you're hurt. Because you're hurt, Jamie. It's practice. Like, that's when you see like this darker side of Ted Lasso. You're like, whoa, dude, he's got a little bit of a temper.
Yeah. Like,
but did that ever come out like with people?
Actually, yes. A few times. I try to make it as fun as possible. I wanted people to laugh and smile and to just be excited to come back to rehearsal and to be excited for like performances because those are the best parts. But man, like, so if you don't know, marching bands, they also at football games and basketball games, but they don't march in basketball games. But anyways, football games, we got to stand in the stands and play pep tunes. I'm sure most of you guys know that. Like if you go to high school football games, like marching band, we'll playing. We'll play like the Hey song. Yeah. We'll play. I think we played Imperial March with Dr.
Did you really?
I think so.
Yes.
A few times.
Yeah.
I think we do that more with basketball games though. But man, I think our pep stuff kind of struggled a little bit because they're really easy songs, so people didn't really care to memorize them as much. And so, I mean, I kind of went through that too. So it's not just everyone; it's me too. Like I was like, I don't need this; I'll be fine. But and I think we could have done a little bit better, and that's kind of on me actually. I think I could have disciplined them a little bit more. Like you guys need to have your music. If you don't memorize it, you guys need to like play on time. I actually remember this one time. It was a pep assembly. Basically it was like a big assembly. I think it was before prom for this year. I think so. I think it was, or homecoming, one of the two. But we were playing the Rocky Gonna Fly Now. And I counted them, me and my other drum major counted them in, and they came in like really quiet, late, wasn't playing on time, and we had to cut them off. And that was something we did not want to do. So I came out with my discipline attitude. I was like, you guys need to watch. I like yelled. Like it was a lot scarier. Like people literally looked at me and they were like, oh man, we gotta like, and then we counted them back in and they did just fine.
That's good. You come across to me though as a leader who doesn't normally pull the yell card though. Like
I never wanted to yell. I wanted people to have fun. I didn't want to like scare people.
But I think there's a lot of leaders that think that in order for them to be a leader, they need to be like a dictator.
Like someone stern, like stern. I'm in charge.
Yeah, like I'm in charge, like the ego.
Yeah.
You don't come across to me as a leader with an ego. You come across to me as as a leader who wants to empower people. But I also think, I mean, I know exactly the story you're talking about, and I also know a couple other stories that you've shared where people are tough, they're not showing up, you have to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about you is there is such a good balance of tough love, compassion, empathy, and fun. That is insanely hard for not just a leader to hit, but a human being to hit. But like, so let me ask you this: when do you think it's right to maybe hold people to the fire a little bit more intensely, hold them accountable to what they're supposed to be doing, versus like, man, I like being the fun guy, I like leading people with fun, but I need to kind of like double down on this person and what they're doing. So how do you decide when to do that? Like
what I was saying, like the only time I really need to be like kind of fiery and give someone tough love is if we've practiced something for so long.
Yeah.
And then we kind of just screwed up a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're just like, where did all that practice go? Like, we worked on this for weeks.
Right.
So I kind of have to give them that tough love. Like, you guys, like, we need to like, and I'm sure there was something I needed to do too. Like, I didn't make this like, you're wrong, I'm right kind of thing. I was more of just like, okay, actually, this kind of came to mind. Do you remember when we were talking about, when we were watching Ted Lasso and you're like, you know how he's such a good leader? I was like, I don't know how. And you're like, because he's not like what I was saying, like, you're wrong, I'm right, I'm in charge, listen to me. It was more like, how can I help?
Dude.
What can I do to be better? How can I make you feel like you want to come back and do better?
I love that because you're right. The performance and the execution and the quality and everything that your team puts out, and you're in a leadership position, if your team's not executing, whose fault is that? Ultimately, it's me. It's you, right?
Yeah, it's me.
Same thing with me. Like, I'll share this with you. You know this, but like I hired somebody a couple of years ago in a big leadership position. And I was paying him a very hefty salary to basically run all the operations in our business. And I got to be honest, it was a bit of a learning experience for me because he wasn't executing very well, and he wasn't executing very well because I wasn't leading him very well. And we can point to other people and be like, it's their fault. I'm the leader. It's their fault. They're not showing up. It ends and begins with the leadership, right? And I love the fact that you're 19 years old and you're like, what could I be doing better?
Yeah.
It's not just them. Like, what can
yeah.
I be doing better?
Yeah, because if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, it probably has something to do with me.
Of course.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe I'm not holding them accountable enough.
Right. So
Or-
sometimes it's like, okay, maybe I'm not being clear. Maybe they don't know the expectations. Maybe I'm not holding them to the fire enough. Like,
Yeah.
if this person tells me they're going to go practice for an hour and then they show up and they have no clue what they're doing, I need to hold that person to that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I actually, when I was a section leader, you know what I actually did to make sure that they were doing the right thing? I had a lot of heart-to-heart moments with them because there was stuff I really wanted,
Heart to heart is in 101.
kind of more
Okay.
like with the whole group.
Okay.
But basically, whenever I was a section leader of the saxophones, but we were also bunched with the mellophones, which is like a bigger trumpet per se. And me and my other section leader, who was with the mellophones, we wanted to make sure people were having fun, but we also wanted to make sure that, this is going to sound kind of braggy, but we wanted to be the best section.
No, there's nothing brag about that. Like, yeah. Like, and people in the section probably want to be in the best section too.
Oh, yeah. Because
So, yeah.
we actually, my freshman year, we were the best section. That
Yeah.
sounds so braggy, but it's true. We were, because we were taking initiative. We were putting in the time and effort of the things that we need to be doing, practicing, showing up early, like 15 minutes early. We were always like better about that stuff. It's
See-
just the truth.
This is why I wanted to do this podcast, because like when we can extract things like this, even, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, when we can extract things like that, we're like, hey, we were better, but we did all of these other things that other people weren't willing to do.
Yeah.
Right. And that's actually life too. The people that show up early, the people that stay a little late, the people that put in that extra effort, those are the ones who are going to rise to the top.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep going.
But yeah, so I was like, Ian, we got to continue this. Like, we got to make sure like we're still kind of the best section, I guess. And our band writers didn't tell us directly, but we heard rumors that we were like, they're doing the best job. Yeah. Sorry, that sounds so braggy, kind of egotistical, but it's just the truth. Because the way we actually kept the whole section accountable. If something wasn't right, if the practicing wasn't like, it just wasn't enough, I would make them record videos of each.
I remember that.
Yeah, I would be like, all right, you guys, I don't want to have to give you playing assignments, but if it has to, I'm sorry, but it has to, because there's some problems in this and this part of this song. We need to put in the time. And I was like, I need a video of you playing this not perfectly, but like with right notes and correct tempo, basically, by Friday.
Basically, play the song right.
If you play it right, it's perfect.
That's right.
But basically, I was like, it's Monday. You have till Friday to get this in, because we have a performance this day.
So you time stamped it.
Yes.
It's not just like, hey, go practice me better, be better by Friday.
Yes. Like,
Right. And
I gave
give
him a
these-
time.
And you probably gave them very specific things to do, right?
Yes. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So in this song, from like measure 12 to 20, I want to hear this part. It's pretty difficult. I think we're struggling with that part the most. So let's practice that part. And I was a section leader at the time. I wasn't drum major. I was practicing with them. I would even send we had a whole group chat. I would even send a video. I
That's
was
good.
showing by example.
That's what you should be doing
Yeah.
as a leader. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's where this is where I think like the audience will get the gold out of stuff like this,
Mhm.
is like when they hear a young man talk about, like, because everything you just described, like when you're leading somebody, especially when someone isn't being held to the fire, or they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you have to communicate effectively, which you did. You have to communicate clearly so they understand. You also have to communicate a timestamp and a time bound. Hey, I need you to do these things by this time, and we're going to check in on it, because what doesn't get measured doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So like holding someone to the fire of like, we're going to check back in on this on Friday, and I'm going to make sure that we've got this right. And I also love the fact, man, that you are willing as a leader to show example. You didn't just tell, you showed. The audio matched the video, the walk matched the talk, so you weren't just be like, go do this. You'd be like, let me show you how to do it.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, because and there were some times where they wouldn't do it, and I would have to step in and be like, you didn't do it. And I didn't really want to punish them, but there were some occasional times where I would make them do something they didn't want to do.
You did dish out a punishment at one point. I can't remember what it was. Did you make them do push-ups or something like that?
That was mostly on the field.
Okay.
Like if they weren't doing if they were distracted or something, I'd make them do a step out and do push-ups or run a lap around the track. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay, I mean business. If you're not going to listen, I'm going to make you do something you don't want to do.
Yeah, you kind of sometimes just have to do a pattern rep, especially with high school people. But here's what I want to do. I want to end this first podcast because we're bumping up on an hour here, and I wanted the audience to get to know you a little bit. And I'm so glad that we shared this story of especially your leadership journey, because these are the kind of things that we're going to extract out of these episodes, is like good things that have happened and why. Even if it's a young man, that way dads can explain to their young men and their young daughters, like maybe put it in the language that they might understand after hearing you. But the other thing too is, in future episodes, we're going to talk about like great things that you've learned under this roof from me, from mom, and we're also going to talk about the things that weren't good.
Oh yeah.
Like we're going to be open about that, and just things I did wrong and things that you experienced. That way, quite honestly, like I get to learn to be better, because you have little brothers, and it doesn't matter if we're 20, 30, 40, or 50, or 60, or 70. We're always learning, always being better. So like the mess ups that I have with you, hopefully maybe you can help me and the audience not make those same mistakes with your little brothers. But this show, man, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about you and I doing this. I don't know how long we'll do it. I do know that we're going to do 12 episodes in the summer, for 12 weeks at least. And if we like it and the audience likes it, we'll keep going maybe. But it's all going to also obviously depend on your commitments. I know you're pursuing paramedic school and firefighting and all that. So gents, until next Wednesday, we are going to be talking all kinds of things, leadership on this podcast, parenting on this podcast, the bond between father and son, lessons learned, all of these incredible things. So stay tuned on this Wednesday show. It is going to be absolutely amazing. Ethan, thanks for joining me, brother. It's awesome.
Thank you so much.